guidance reading. I've got in my hand the surrender deck, so I'm going to open the session in this reading with a surrender card. I'm doing this today because I feel that there's a lot of confusion, a lot of turmoil, a lot of tumultuous energy going around, and a lot of kind of back and forth. Yeah, and just essentially, perhaps maybe we can learn what we can surrender and what the overarching energy that the surrender deck really wants to show. Okay, let's come out. Let's have a look. Okay, lovely. This is a really great card. Okay, so surrender to effortlessness. Okay, so really this is exactly the key message, and I totally agree with it. The message right now is about being effortless, not pushing against the tide, you know, going with the path of least resistance. Really, really important that this is what you start embodying, okay? And the way you know when you're doing this is if something is pulling you in a direction and you know, and you're feeling resistant, then that is not the direction for you. As simple as that. You don't need to get into your head about it. You don't need to berate yourself over it. Your body is already telling you what feels right or what doesn't feel right. Okay, now this is going to be the energy of the month, particularly, I know this is a weekly reading, but particularly this week, I feel that there could be a heightening of certain things coming up, okay? Today, also on the day I'm doing this recording, which is the 4th of October, we've got Pluto actually moving forward, finding it's coming out of its stationary position and moving forward, which is a huge, big thing. So this is about also burning a lot of karma, releasing a lot of the old, releasing the old way of being, but just trust how you're feeling and what needs to be surrendered, okay? So here it's a surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. So if you're one of these people that is pushing your way, forcing things to happen, going all out gung-ho like a bull in a china shop type thing, you know, you want to be mindful because this could actually backfire, okay? Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Okay, and again, you know, some of you could actually be putting some steps forward as well, and you find that certain things are opening or whatever it is, and that's totally fine. But whatever it is for you, just really know that the key message, the overarching message, which is how I'm going to relay the rest of the cards to read the message for the cards, is effortlessness, okay? So I'm just going to sort of prop this here right in front of me. Now, I've also already pre-shuffled some of the cards. I'm using the Soul's Journey cards, which I'll open at the end. I've got a new deck, which I'm really excited about, which arrived the other day. I'll just get the box, which is the Light Seers Tarot. Okay, so I'm still familiarizing myself with this. This is a very much a modern tarot deck based on the Rider-Waite, but very much about kind of how we're living now. And the illustrations, which I'll show you, will be very much related to kind of like more of a modern image. Okay, so we'll see. So I've got that laid down. I've got 4 cards here. I went for 3. I was going to go for 4, but two fell out at the end. And I've got also the Energy Oracle deck because I was curious about the energy that I want to talk about by Sandra, what's her name? Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay, so the first card I have here, all right, is the 3 of Cups on the inverted, followed by the 10 of Wands inverted as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to get in the world, and 2 of Pentacles. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to take it on the inversions. Sometimes I read them on inversions, and some decks I don't, but this one I am actually going to read on the inversion. Okay, we've got the 3 of Cups. As you can see, it's a really beautiful card. This is normally about people getting together, people supporting each other, and yeah, you know, as you can see, they're all looking in the right direction, or in the same direction, in the direction they're going. Okay, there's a sense of playfulness about this card, and a sense of innocence and all stargazing, if you can see. So this is about perhaps having things wanting to go your way, but things are not, okay, from how I'm reading it. I also feel that in some way, for some of you, there could be a real distortion between your people, or the people maybe you might have felt let down. Okay, there could have been some kind of joyful news or some kind of arrangements wanting to happen. And for some reason, there has now been a shift in kind of the alliances, or who's actually around you to be able to form whatever it is you need to do. The second card, I think, as we go along the week, so you might find I'll come back to these reasons once I have a bit more clarity. I've also got the 10 of Wands inverted. Now, the 10 of Wands generally also means, you can see it's carrying a load, isn't it? Okay, and it's on foot. and it's got, you know, it's got an ox, which is also means that it's kind of hard work. So you need something, some support, if you like. All right. And yes, it looks like she's come down from the hill and she's making this travel, but she's still carrying a large load. And there's the winds against her. Okay. Normally the 10 of Wands is a card that normally would express that you've gone through quite a bit. All right. And then you're now coming through with the inverted card. I think I feel some way that you have come unscathed, if you like, or unscathed, or you're actually moving away from something that could have been a burden. Okay, so I feel like in some ways, whatever's not working out, whatever seems to be falling away, whatever connections that seem not to be sort of within your place now is meant to happen. And yeah, and you don't really need to carry it, which actually brings me to my messages, what I always forget as well. So the message that I got through, you know, tuning in was elevate yourself from what is going on around you. Okay, and I also got kind of 3 messages, 3 sentences. All is as it should be. And then I've also got finally here, be brave, be bold, do not get dragged in. Okay, this may mean something to you. It may not mean anything to you. The whole 3 messages may have some resonance for you, or it could be just one and then maybe not 2. So you take whatever you will. But I feel this is really quite important. I feel like there's been some kind of confusion and some kind of letdown for sure. I feel like whatever you thought, or whoever thought you thought were your allies, in fact, have shown not to be so. Okay, now it may put you in a trajectory of fear or concerns. You're carrying a burden on your own, but actually you're not. Okay, or it may seem that way. So I really suggest that elevate yourself from it. Stop thinking that this is, oh my God, this is really hard. Just trust that everything is as it needs to be. All right, the beautiful thing about this World card also means completion and the ending. A 21 card often is a cycle being completed. So you could have had an interaction with somebody. This is also, the World comes to a number 3, and this is also a 3 of Cups. This is too with the emotional. So maybe the emotional support you thought you had, or the emotional support you were expecting is no longer there, and you're finding yourself slightly in a darker gray area of your life and kind of being concerned that you now actually have to carry the burdens alone. This is not the case, but this is possibly putting you in a better place, which is much more fulfilling and much more right for you. This card also can mean as well, generally, that there's a sense of completion, okay? I feel that there's a sense of release in this picture. This woman's actually sitting in a circle of her own. I feel like in some way she's engaging in some essence of herself, that she knows that there's more true for her. So I really feel that it is really important at the moment that you actually feel self-contained and not to worry about what else is going on around you. Next to this card, which came out simultaneously, also is a 2 of Pentacles, which is in the upright. This is a card of indecision, of not knowing which way to go, or things could be quite rocky, okay? Just trust that this is meant to happen. I feel like that, you know, the wind is going to take you towards, it's a bit like, I'm getting the image of a boat sailing in an ocean, say a solitary boat, if you like. And then it's wanting to go one direction, but the wind is actually pulling it in a different direction. Okay, now depending on the kind of, you know, self that you've got, if you can actually get sort of windswept or wind battered or whatever. Okay, I really feel like just go with where it's taking you. This is not about submission or being submissive. Okay, this is about surrender. Surrender is when you trust something much bigger than you, divine intelligence or spirit is actually guiding you. And I feel at this time, it's particularly the forces of this October and this week, is that there are certain things happening around you that you're not actually clear about, or you can't see. Okay, now in some way as well, my eyes have gone to that bag there, and it tells me something. You have everything you need. Okay, you're carrying everything you need within your bag. Okay, most women's handbags, for example, even a man's satchel, you have everything you need, right? Generally, unless you forget to put something in there. But I feel like this for me right now, I'm reading is you've got the metaphor. It's a metaphor for me about what you having what you need within you. Okay, it's also very important to stay rooted at this point as well, so you can access your divine or your self intelligence and not get rocked about by the winds or the change of direction, if you like, in what you're being faced with. There is a lot of confusion, a lot already, as I already said, and there's a lot of turmoil. And I feel that those two, normally signified as it's the Two of Pentacles, but normally in the traditional tarot, they're actually two discs. Okay, this is about anything that you're trying to ground. This is anything that you're trying to make tangible. This could be also any kind of two choices. So this week you will be faced with possible decisions that you've got to weigh up, or options. Okay, I might get a clarifier to see what perhaps would help alleviate that. But just know that you are very much self-contained, and you've got all the elements of inner wisdom, inner strength, inner courage, and even your voice to actually express what needs to happen and actually even be able to manifest. Okay, the energy between the veils of yourself and the ethers is actually quite thin at the moment as well. So in some way you can manifest things quite quickly with the intention that you put out there. Okay, so do not, if things are not showing up for you, that's because it's not meant to show up for you. So it's also really important that you don't go get down on yourself and feel that you're actually doing something wrong. Okay, we've been sort of, the New Age movement has also really indoctrinated a lot of people to feel that if you're not manifesting something bringing forth, there is a huge attachment of failure to that and shame. Okay, you've got to trust something, that there's a veil of lit intelligence around you. And I think when you really allow yourself to really be involved and engage in that trust and in your own energy field, you will be guided to the right place at the right time, in the right way, and in the perfect way. Okay, and that's all you need to kind of affirm. All right, so do not carry the burdens of what you might be seeing other people doing, or what might be happening around you, or feeling that you're the only person that's not, something's not happening, or you're being left out. I feel like in some way you want to actually start really choosing the people around you, and you'll be noticing the signs for that, and that will bring, ought to bring you joy. So start really choosing quite wisely. Okay, so the other cards that I've got here as well, okay, is to do with, you know, really going, this is also a card of now walking towards, out of the darkness and into the light. Okay, and this is also beneath this card. So whatever has not worked for you here in terms of the people, the company you thought you were going to be having or keeping, you know that you're being guided to something much more suitable, coming out the dark, or possibly what could have been a dark period, or maybe walking into the dark, you're moving out to the light, which also really works with this as well. You do not need to carry the darkness or the burdens on your own. Okay, you can actually ask for guidance. I feel that whatever you have, you're about to go into, would have tied you up. Okay, it would have actually really limited you. And I think in some way, some of you could be actually be released from whatever limitation that you feel that could have been happening. All right. And in some way, also, some of you actually might have had some financial constraints, but things are going to be changing, and there's going to be some kind of opportunity that you do not see coming your way. Okay, make sure that you clear your passage for receiving the abundance that you need. Because I've got these two cards also in the reverse position. Okay, I feel like in some way with this card on the top of this one, I think there's a sense of release as well. Something or somebody around you was having you actually very much tied up. Okay, in some way they were not allowing you to move freely, and it was becoming a hindrance. Okay, and fate has had it, so something has shifted, and this is also where this needs to be, was everything's as it should be. So just trust that you're actually being released. And these two cards almost are identical. Okay, they're both the world. All right, so there is something working with you, and the forces greater than you. So the other thing I want to say is release yourself from kind of like all tied up thinking, you know, as well, that something's not working in my favor, or something's going terribly wrong. All right, you know, the energy of the skies at the moment are very much going to hijack you if you're not careful, and get embroiled in something being a lot harder than it needs to be. Really surrender to effortlessness. Okay, you know, if something's not working, just think, okay, it's not meant to work today. All right, if you didn't receive a phone call from somebody that you were expecting, again, trust that there's a bigger reason that's happening there, or you just can flow with it. And if you feel moved to make that call or make that communication, then do so. Okay, do not do anything that you feel that you're not actually inclined to do. This is about self-sovereignty and sense of self-importance. I want to actually quickly look at this card and read from it. Okay, so financial constraints, number 13. I just want to double check. I feel in some way that if there has been some financial concerns, it is now going to be alleviated as well. So whatever movement you might have had around a certain kind of limitation, this will be moving. Okay, it says here, the reverse cards pretends an increase in money about to come your way. Great, and the previous constrictions have broken open, and there's a greater flow of money and other things. So I was about to say that as well. This is not necessarily to do with money, but also an energy. So whatever was closed off, okay, any constraint that you might have had that you've not been able to move forward is now going to be revealed and be opening up for you. Okay, you know, the more funds will come in, or there'll be more freedom. Okay, we're able to take risks where previously you were held back. Okay, so which is really absolutely excellent. And this is also untying yourself from situations that's holding you back. Again, this could be also things that you might have at home, people, you know, you're kind of thinking or whatever it is, all right, that is being released. Okay, this is an opportunity for you actually to really open up. I really feel also it's an opportunity to speak your truth. Know when it is worth, you know, I wrote something on Facebook not that long in the week about there are a lot of people who will be firing off a lot of anger and a lot of upset about something. Again, do not add fuel to the fire. By all means, communicate what you might need to communicate around that, but do not get into the target line, which is what I said, okay? Just accept, elevate yourself from what is going around you, because there's a lot of dramas going around you, okay? And untie yourself also from the psychic energy that where people could be dumping on you, or anything that you might also see or hear or be influenced by or affected by, okay, through Facebook or any other social media and the news itself, okay? We have the power to allow what comes in and what doesn't need to come, you know, to occupy our sphere. Really important. So again, be mindful of what you watch, what you're listening, and if something kind of is triggering you or affecting you, notice that you are allowing it to come into your sphere, okay? It is a separate entity out there, but it's your choice to either buy into the fear, buy into the jealousy, buy into the insecurity, buy into whatever it is that you could be experiencing. And in doing that, you're certainly going to release yourself from any restraints or constraints, okay? But I do feel like it is important for you to use your voice, perhaps speak up for something that you haven't spoken up, and maybe that needs ironing out just so it can be released once and for all, okay? So I'm going to leave the cards here for a moment, and I'm just going to see what the Soul Journey card says. Okay, the first card I've got here is also a card of empathy, which I think is really, really important, because there's going to be a lot of triggering for people, a lot of unexpected rage possibly being dumped, or anger or whatever. It is really important that you can get back into your center, okay, and come into your heart's space in your center as well. When you can come from your center, which is your heart center, you can then be open to be able to see both sides of the coin. Okay, there are always two stories, there's always two truths, and there's always you know, two people's definition of what their experience of something is. All right, there are of course people who sometimes will do things deliberately at you, all right, but those people you don't really want around. They're not your people. You certainly don't want people to abuse you in any way, okay? So, you know, by all means, you know, really put the boundary around that, or just don't have anything to do with people like that. But in releasing, okay, sometimes we can have toxic mind pollution, concerns, or anything like that. And by having empathy, by actually recognizing that perhaps if somebody lashed out at you, you can actually sort of think, okay, well, something must be going on from them for them to act that way. Okay, so it's really important that that's where you bring your empathetic skills out. Okay, it says here, I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Okay, and then there's you in this dynamic as well. So you need to sort of understand whatever you're upset to do with what somebody was. Perhaps you need to check in and actually see, what did you do? Maybe not that you contributed to that, and by no means you're responsible for how they behaved, but how could you also show up differently? You know, maybe it is about taking the high road, but it's not about being a victim and taking the high road either. Okay, but it could be also understanding that, you know, this is not about you and it is about somebody else. And to empathize also with whatever's going on for people, and maybe not to be so judgmental or bitchy about it, but actually understand that everyone is where they're at due to their experience, or what they have experienced as well. Okay, and we're all on an evolutionary growth. We're all growing, we're all spreading our web, we're almost making new contacts and new forms of participating. So as things are changing as well, you know, try and empathize as people trying to find their wings to fly, rather than actually sort of dulling their dreams or putting them down, or I don't know, being righteous in any way. Okay, just recognize that people are where they are, and they've made choices with the knowledge that they have and the way they are. Okay. Now the other card here I have is patience, and I think this is also really, really timely. Right, there are a lot of frustrations being experienced for many. There are lots of plans that's been undone, if you like, you know, or you might have had decisions that you were going to do something, and certain things are really not quite opening up yet. So this is a wonderful message on a soul level as well. Okay, to say I accept that everything happens in divine order, which is also this. Okay, all as it should be. You know, when you can really live out of that and trusting that. Okay, you can actually come from a place of power, a place of your certain, you know, sovereign. This, you know, we've got the solar plexus there, we've got the sacral chakra there, and we've got the root chakras. In fact, we've got all the chakra colors in this one. So this is about really bringing the elements of your sense of energetic system in harmony and in alignment. So you're not coming out of your ego, you're not coming out of impatience or hurting somebody else or saying hurtful words because you're feeling hard done by. This is about you also being able to communicate your truth, you know, but being patient maybe with where people are not meeting your needs immediately right now, and trusting, more importantly than anything else, that everything happens in divine order, or in the order of God, or in order of spirit. I've said this many times before, that we are not all that powerful. Yes, we can manifest things, and yes, like I said, we can also call in a certain kind of manifestation in intention, but at the end of the day, it is still in divine's time. Okay, spirit will send it to you when the time's right. And the only way you can elevate yourself into this sort of joyous figure and being happy about things is when you know that you're in total alignment with that truth. Right, so I think this is pretty much the card message for the week. I will want to pick an angel card as well. Okay, I've got one out and I'm just going to get that one. So because it may well come back out. Okay, so let's see what the angels have. Okay, so respect. I think this is also a really good one that ties in with empathy. Okay, respect. When you show respect for other people, when you actually come from a place of respect and treat people with respect, I think you also show the truth of your ability to be empathetic. Okay, when you have self-respect as well, which is really important. People, I feel sometimes, and particularly at the moment, are very selfishly navigating their own lives. They're very selfishly doing things according to what they decide, and maybe not taking in, you know, in regards to what an effect it might have on you. But I think there's such a blinkered, I'm really getting a feeling that many are actually in a very blinkered state of place. It's a bit like the horse, you know, with the blinkers, and they're only thinking about where they need to go, what they need to do, what is important to them, what it is that they need to get rid of, what is it they need to do. And what they're doing is, while they're kind of maybe coming into your sphere, they're actually not respecting perhaps the knock-on effect of perhaps you not following it up, giving them enough room maybe to make a decision, or possibly not actually honoring your word by actually making that phone call, or whatever it is. Okay, you know, but the most important thing is almost have, you know, whatever's happening, just allow yourself to be even bigger than what's going on, and just respect the others for where they're at. And most important, I feel like, respect yourself. Okay, and I think this is also quite nice. Elevate yourself from what is going on around you really also matches with respect. When you respect yourself, you can elevate yourself. Okay, do not fall into the mud bath of what's going out there. There's a lot going out there, and the energy is going to get a lot more intense as the week progresses. Okay, I'm going to open actually another two. Okay, this one's stuck. All right, this is quite nice as well. This also keeps in this. This is about sisterhood and brotherhood. This is that we're all connected. Okay, we're all one. Okay, so we're all of the same kind of, not energetic field necessarily, but we're all in the same life right now. Okay, you know, whether you've got a lot of money or you haven't, or whether you're moving forward and somebody's stuck, or whether you have, you know, a job or you don't. Okay, you know, or you're being identified by what you do, or you feel like you haven't got any identity. We're all at the core of it, brothers and sisters, or people to be respected. All right, so I think that's really important, that we start actually coming from this place. And this is about us being this, you know, like I said, as a soul journey, we are this way from ourselves first, when we start doing our work, that's when we become a much more global, united whole, you know. And I've said this about activism before as well. Be the personal activist for yourself by having respect for yourself in your life, by putting the right boundaries, by carving the right time out, by naturally honoring your own rhythm. Okay, and then by doing that, you can also respect what another person's doing. Now, I'm not sort of saying here you condone any negative behavior or murdering or all that. Of course, that goes without saying. Okay, so I don't want any comments or anything like that or whatever about, you know, sort of more of that kind of evil side, but that does exist. Okay, but it is when we have the power of light, okay, within ourselves, we can act as a beacon towards and for the world. Okay. Right, and then finally, which is also really nice as well, I feel that, okay, within this chaos, it says, be brave, be bold, and do not get dragged in. So have faith, all right? Faith is what also keeps us balanced and in harmonized. It is sometimes a really strong act in ourselves to have faith, that trusting that something is going to actually come our way, that, you know, we're going to get our needs met, or wherever we're meant to go is going to go, or whatever our wishes or dreams could be, you know, but just trust faith. It's coming. If you look at the two angels there, you know, it's jumping off its trapeze, you know, and actually, you know, being caught. Just trust that you are going to be caught. So wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're wanting, whatever that you want to see manifest or come into your life, whatever it is you need, just trust. Okay, you have all the skill sets to stay balanced. Like I said, do not get you know, over pushed by the winds. Have patience if things are not coming up to light right now, or there's not the immediate result. You are meant to be where you're meant to be, so do have patience, but just know things are going to be opening up for you. And you are now also untying yourself from situations and people and connections that actually don't serve you as well. Okay, at the bottom of the deck here as well on the Energy Oracle card, I've got the caring connections upside down. So maybe you're actually having to release the people you thought who are there for you, like I said, who are actually not actually as caring or actually as have your back or as invested in you. But trust that's moving you into a better life fully, okay? And what you want to be doing is actually moving towards this energy, okay? I am also going to have a look at the bottom of the deck. I've learned to do this now because I always forget and tend to do it as an add-on. Okay, at the bottom of the deck here, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. So this is also about actually some kind of material abundance coming your way. This is about being able to also know which direction to go into. If you see, there are all these pentacles here, and she's reaching for one of her kind of, it could be a talent, it could be some financial reward, it could be something you want to put out in the world, but it is very much supported by spirit, okay? And this is also about using what you've got and creating the life or the direction, or creating the pathway in the direction that you want to go. All right, some of you have actually might been definitely been sort of having to release some old story and some pain, and I know that's a fact for a lot. We're going through a massive karmic clearing, so there's definitely a time now to walk away from anything that doesn't you know, serve you, and to turn your back on things and people, thought forms, and all the noise that you're occupying, and moving away from that. Okay, there is something much more enriching waiting for you. And finally, at the bottom of the deck, which is the energy behind the scenes, I'd say is, you know, it's a good time to actually sort of be rather self-contained at the minute, you know, while we're in Libra season as well, which is all about sociability, meeting up with people and stuff. I feel like in some way as well, some of you actually will serve going more inward and trusting the inner guidance you're getting from your own body. Okay, and when you tune into your own self, when you tune into your own natural rhythms, you will get the guidance that you need and know when to move forward. And like I said earlier on, moving away from you know, sort of things that you're resisting, okay, which also fits in quite nicely with that. All right, when we start trusting our bodies, and I've talked about this in my last few videos, by all means do look at them, because these videos, while they're weekly, there's a lot of very poignant and current energy messages in there. And to be honest, I'm quite amazed sometimes that when I listen to some astrological aspects that are kind of overarching, the messages that I've been getting from the cards that actually really relate to a lot of what is going on, will continue to be going on. So there are messages there, and this is why I've started putting them as timeless stamps on them, you know, so you can really actually be able to listen to it if you feel moved by the actual title and the caption that is on the videos. So I'm going to leave you with that. I really wish you a really great week and a few weeks coming. Things are a bit tumultuous, but like I said, be brave, be bold, you know, and don't get dragged into any negative thinking or anybody that's dragging you into their agenda. Okay, just trust yourself, trust where you need to be, trust where you need to go, trust what you want to do, and what is calling you and moving you. Okay, and finally, just last message, have respect for yourself and definitely elevate yourself from what is going on around you. Lots of love. I'll catch you next week again. And I'm not going to be continuing with the dailies for now. I just feel that there's a lot on my plate as well. So I'm going to trust my own rhythm and and create the space that I need to be able to do my other videos and other things. And I may put the dailies back on, but for now, I am going to continue with the weeklies, the full moon and the new moon readings. All my details are in the description box if you want to book me for a reading or for any other services, which is on my website, www.rafahsabat.com. You'll find it all there. There's a full array of offerings I offer. And finally, is it here? Yeah. I work with the chakras. I'm a huge advocate for working with the energy centers. There's some great meditations or sound meditations that are out on YouTube. I use a few of them. I might even put a link below so you can actually use one or two of them. And if you get this worksheet, this sort of support sheet rather, which by signing up to my newsletter, you'll get automatically for free. There's a free download also of this on my website as well. So do visit my website if you don't want to be on the newsletter, but you actually just want to receive this, by all means, it's there for elevating your energy and really keeping you grounded, keeping you whole, and really keeping you vibrant and liberated. The sounds are all there. So all the instructions are there. Feel free to drop me a line if you want any kind of guidance on how to use this worksheet as well. All right, particularly with the sounds. But I highly recommend it. It's a really great freebie. So again, I'm going to finish here. Thanks a lot. Lots of love. All the best. And I'll catch you next week. Bye for now. Bye.